How did I start out in sport journalism? Okay, so I've always loved sports. Not necessarily thought about myself becoming a sport journalist in the future. It just happened. I've always loved sport to the extent that I played sport while I was in school. I played for my school and a bit of my community back then. I was a basketball player, and it was fun. And when I got into school, there was not so much time for me to be playing the sport, so I transited into listening to sports shows and just watching watching all the sport competitions out there. So it became a part of me, became an habit actually. And many people will see me. That time I was studying computer science, and one time even my lecturer told me that I am just so out of place in his class, because I am definitely not a potential computer scientist. So around that time I begin to think about what I can do. So during that time I started, because I did part-time. My schooling was quite unique. I did part-time at Lagos State Polytechnic, and I had some time to myself to intern at the nearest radio station, which was Top Radio. But before I got into Top Radio, I had to undergo a radio broadcast academy, which I did, and I did it for I think a few months. And after graduation, I needed somewhere to intern, and there came Top Radio, where I did my internship. I spent close to 2-3 years at Top Radio, and I was just on radio, learning the ropes. Aside Top Radio, I also worked at Smooth FM, interned there, Radio Continental, TVC. It was Radio Continental back then, but now it's Max FM. So really, those moments kind of shaped my life as a sports journalist. Back then, really, I was just having fun. I just hoping that it will take me somewhere. So I think a couple of years back, say 8 years, I covered my first sports event actually in 2012. That's like 10 years ago. I can remember Eco 2012. It was my first national sports festival, first sports event that I will cover, and I did quite well. And the experience from that time actually, inspired me to appreciate being on the field than being in the on air or anywhere. I just love to speak with the coaches, the players, have their feel, see their sweat, see how they sweat it out, and be in the moment with those athletes. And yes, when I stopped going on air, I took it seriously. I started covering events and writing content from there. And then that was when social media was becoming a thing. And I started putting all my content on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And back then there were blogs. I opened a blog as well, and that was how I started. It was more or less like I thought myself through the journey. And the world is revolving, and you have to evolve as well. I have gone beyond just covering events and writing stuff on social media to now covering events for organizers, for competition, corporations, for federations, covering the events for them and creating content as a content producer for these people. Once in a while I do sports influencing as well, but my core area is sports content producer as it is right now. So that is where I am right now, a media officer for the International Table Tennis Federation Africa. So that has been the journey so far. So my advice to upcoming sport journalists, well, when I started out, I wouldn't say I had any mentor. I wouldn't say anybody gave me like the guidelines to follow. I just want you to follow your gut. Try as much as possible to have an open mind. Don't say because, I want to be on air, and you're so restricted, you're so, you're so strict-jacketed into believing being on air is all you want. The world is evolving, and as a sport journalist, you should be able to do a lot of things now. You shouldn't just be able to be on air. You should also have the tools to work as a sport journalist, either by covering on the field, speaking with athletes, and knowing your gadget tools to produce these things. Writing sports stories never goes out of style. And now we have social media, we have video production, we have photography. There are so many things. There are so many things out there in sport journalism that upcomers don't know. And this is not just about radio, TV, or the newspapers. There are so many other things. You can work in administration, you can work as backroom staff, you can work as a physio or something. Everything is in sports. You can also work as a producer. We don't have a lot of producers here, but with the advent of social media, we have a lot of studios out now that are into sports. Sport journalists can work as producers in there, as directors, as sport photographers. So, it's all encompassing right now in becoming the best version of you, the best sport journalist out there that you already set your goals at. So that is just my advice. Just have an open mind and try to spread your tentacles as much as possible. Get better. Dedicate your time. Don't just pass through sport journalism. Let sport journalism pass through you. And passion is not enough, but with passion, you will go a long way. If you are doing something that you love, is better than you doing something you don't love and you're still not getting paid. Yes, sport journalism, of course, there isn't a lot of money in it here in Nigeria, but yes, you have to have the passion to push through, because it is that passion that people will will see you with. Like, they will recognize you with that passion. So yeah, long talk, but yeah, that's my 2 cents about it. Thank you so much. I hope this will do, and I hope it's not too late. Have a good day.